Hi, welcome to my channel, Crate with Steve I. Today I'm going to update my book and film journals. So today I am going to be updating my film and book journals. So let's start with my book journal, since this is always kind of like the smaller one of the quicker one of the two. Let's get to, okay, so this will be the first one of 2026. So the first book I finished in 2026. I started it at the end of 2025, but in January I finished reading it. It's called The Cat Who Saved Books, and it is a Japanese novel, fantasy, sci-fi kind of novel, about a guy whose grandfather, he really loved his grandfather, and his grandfather raised him and taught him to love books, and his grandfather owned a used bookstore, and so he is liquidating the bookstore because his aunt is going to have him come live with her, and this cat just shows up out of nowhere, walks through the wall, and brings him into these different dimensions to help save books from different types of people. It's a fun book. I recommend it. The next one I read, I was actually listening to the audiobook, is The Echo of Old Books. And if you've never read this one, I highly, highly recommend it. It was really, really, really good. It's about a woman who, when she touches books, she feels emotions from the people who last owned them or who wrote them. And she stumbles upon a couple books that give her an emotional response, but they're not published through traditional kind of publishers. They're like almost like a publisher, or like, oops, I put this upside down. It's almost like they were published by, like, someone typed up the manuscript and then brought it in and just had it bound, basically. But what's interesting is first she finds one, and so she's reading it, and then she finds another one, and so it's like one is from the male character and one is from the female character. They had a relationship and it ended, and so it's like he is charging her with, like, this is his angst against her for the relationship, and the other book is her response to his upset about their relationship. It was really good. I really liked it. She got really swept into the story. And then the next book I read was for Creatively Lisa Marie's book club pick for January, and I read The 10,000 Doors of January, and I really liked this. It's a fantasy book. I didn't realize it was fantasy, but the idea is that in our world there's all these different doorways that can lead to different dimensions, and there's all these different dimensions, and so this woman had met a guy who came through one of the doorways to her dimension, and they fell in love, and then that doorway got closed after he went back through it, and so she went on a search trying to find him. It's a really, really good book. I recommend it. I really liked reading it. And then the last book that I have here, is Daughters of the Occupation. Such a good book. I love it. It's about, it takes place in Latvia during World War II. First, actually before that, the Soviet Union had taken over Latvia, and then the Germans took over Latvia, and then after the Germans were defeated by the Soviets again, and so the Soviets took over Latvia again, and it's all based on true stories. The woman who wrote this, it's based on her family. It's a really good book, but it's really brutal. It's really sad and really depressing, but it was a really good book. And anybody out there who supports socialism should read this book and see the realities of socialism. I know sometimes people act like socialism is this great thing, and on paper it looks like it would be, but in reality it's not, and this book is a pretty stark picture of it. So I highly, highly recommend that. So that is my update so far for the first 2 months of February of my book journal, and because of those two books, in my little passport to travel the world through books, I visited Japan because of the cat who saved books. So the capital of Japan is Tokyo. The population is 123 to 124 million. The national dish is Japanese curry rice. It's unofficially considered the dish because I don't have an official one. Fun facts about Japan is Japan is made up of thousands of islands. KFC is eaten traditionally at Christmas, which is hilarious to me. They invented the vending machines, and their culture encourages polite slurping when they are drinking their soup. Tipping is not practiced and can be considered rude in Japan. And then here's Latvia. Latvia is in Eastern Europe. Riga is the capital. The population is 1.862 million people. The national dish is, I do not even know how to pronounce that. If I'm not even gonna try. Fun facts, it is the second oldest flag in the world. It is the birthplace of blue jeans, home to blue cows, which I Googled to look at. They have kind of a bluish color to them, which is interesting. I've never heard of those before. It is credited with the first decorated Christmas tree in history. Ice hockey is the most popular sport. The summer solstice is the biggest celebration of the year. And it has 12,000 plus rivers in that little country of Latvia. So that is where I'm at as far as traveling the world through books. Now, let's move on to the movies, which is usually more plentiful. You know, I have not been watching as many movies lately as it's going to look like I have, but I just have not been watching as many. And where is my... Okay, so the first movie I watched this year was Persuasion. This version, I think it's from the 90s. My friend Scott and I both love Jane Austen's books, and he highly recommended this version of the movie, and so I enjoyed it. I gave it a 4 stars. I think this is his favorite version of the movie, so he wanted me to watch it. And then I showed my friends on Saturday nights, we get together for movies. Usually we watch classic film, but sometimes I show them a more modern film. So I showed them one of my favorite movies of all time. It's still one of my favorite movies of all time. And it is Marvin's Room from the 90s with Meryl Streep, Diane Keaton, and Leonardo DiCaprio. One of my favorite films of all time. I highly, highly recommend it. The next movie I watched was, my brother sent me the movie The Ghost and Mrs. Muir, which I really like. And so I watched this one next. And then I got together with my friends. We watched classic movies, and I showed them this movie, Doubting Thomas, which is a fun movie. It's not one of my favorite films because Will Rogers is the main character, or the main actor and the main character in it, and he's not somebody I appreciate or like. But I love Billy Burke, who plays his wife, and so I showed that to them because it's got some funny moments in it. Okay, and then the next one was another movie that I showed them. See, I'm not watching as many. It's called Cloak and Dagger. Trying to remember which one this one is. Oh yeah, so it's a guy who goes to Europe. He's a scientist, and he goes to Europe as a spy to get some information during World War II. It's fun. And then the rest of the movies from now on are pretty much going to be On my trip to Africa and back on the plane, I don't sleep on planes, so I watch a lot of movies. So the first movie I watched was A Few Good Men, which I have not seen in years, but I still really love that movie. It was really, really good, and I really, really appreciated it. I flew Qatar Air, and I have to say, the only complaint, well, the biggest complaint I have, there's very few complaints I have because it's an amazing airline, is that their movie listings are not like they don't have an A to Z movie listings. So you have to look through each category at all the movies, and there's the same movies over and over, but they have new ones and different ones and stuff like that. So that's got frustrating trying to find all the different movies. But I watched A Few Good Men because I love that one, and I watched Inception again because I love Inception. This is one that I'd never heard of before. Apparently, it's on Netflix to watch. It's called Nanas. I highly recommend it. My friend actually found it and recommended it to me because she said it sounds like a Steve movie, and it totally was. It is about a guy who is Italian, and his mom and his grandmother gave him a love for food. And so after their passing, he decided to use the money that his mom left to him to open a restaurant in Staten Island, and he fills it with Italian grandmothers. So the women who cook are all Italian grandmothers. And it's a true story, and it is a true restaurant in Staten Island. So if you're in that area or go visiting that area, check out the restaurant. It sounds like an amazing place. I really want to try it out. The next two movies I watched was they had National Treasure and National Treasure Book of Secrets. These movies are not in my favorites, but I had seen National Treasure and I like it. I think it's a fun movie. But I had never seen the second one, so I decided to go ahead and watch them both. So National Treasure and then National Treasure Book of Secrets. They're fun. I really like this one. I think it's worth watching. The second one, not so much. Only if you really want to watch it. Like if you liked the first one enough to like see what they did with the second one. I don't think the second one's that great, but it was worth checking out. I had lots of time, so it was worth watching. Excuse me. And then coming back at the end of my trip, the first movie I watched was a documentary on John Candy. It's called John Candy, I Like Me, and it was a really, really good movie. It was from his colleagues and family and friends talking about his life, and I like John Candy. He's really funny, and I really enjoyed watching that documentary about him. The next movie I watched is called Uncharted, and it is an action-adventure movie, kind of like National Treasure, where they're treasure hunting and stuff, and it's good. It definitely has moments in it that are, like, unbelievable, that are like, yeah, right, but it was fun. It was fun watching. It's typical action-adventure. This next one I watched, I did not realize was a horror film, or I probably would not have watched it, but I did enjoy it. I thought it was a good movie. It's called Life. It's about people who find life on Mars, and they bring in, well, they find a cell in the dirt of Mars, and they try they put it in different environments, and then it starts to grow, and then it starts to like try to take over. So it's a good movie. I liked it. It's creepy and it's fun. But I enjoyed it. The next movie I watched is based on a true story of a diver. These divers go in off the northern coast of Scotland to repair I think it is a gas pipe, and there's a storm going on, and so the ship gets blown off course, and the guys who were down in the water get dragged along, and one of the guys, he gets his oxygen tube that goes from the ship to him, and it gets severed. And so they go on this rescue mission to rescue him, and he was without oxygen. It's based on a true story. He was without oxygen for 27 minutes, and he had no lasting brain damage, and he has no lasting effects, and he's perfectly fine. Their medical science cannot give an explanation, and all I can say is it's the hand of God. And some people are like, well, how can you say it's the hand of God when some people have less oxygen for less and then die? I don't know. All I know is the only way that's possible is the hand of God. Why God revealed himself in that way and saved this guy's life, I have no idea, because I'm not God, but I can tell you the only way that's possible is the hand of God. So it was a really good movie. I really, really enjoyed it. I thought it was a good movie, and I think everybody should see it. It's well done. The next one is another movie I'd seen before years ago, but it had been a long time, so I decided to watch it again. It is called Gravity. It's got Sandra Bullock and George Clooney, about a group of scientists up in space, and this Russia blows up one of their own satellites, and it creates this so the satellite that blew up is circling the Earth, and so it comes at this group of people who are working outside, working to fix a satellite, I think, or I'm pretty sure they're working on a satellite, and it just destroys everything, and they get severed, and Sandra Bullock ends up getting back to the ship. She's the only one who survives going back to the ship. And then she has to try to get to Earth. It's a really fun movie if you've never seen it. Okay, the next one I watched I'd never heard of before, but it's got an all-star cast. It's got Rachel McAdams, it's got Russell Crowe, it has Helen Mirren, it has Ben Affleck, it's got Dennis Quaid. It's called State of Play from 2009, and it's a political thriller, and it was really, really good about this. Russell Crowe is a investigative reporter, and his best friend is played by Ben Affleck. Well, not his best friend, but a friend of his is Ben Affleck, and he is on what is he on? He's a congressman, and one of his research lawyers, she's working on like a brief that they're writing up. She's helping research, and she gets killed, and so it creates them looking into it, and then all kind of hell breaks loose. It's a really, really good thriller. I really, really liked it. And then the next one I watched, I think this is the last one I watched, was Safe House. It has Denzel Washington and Ryan Reynolds, and it's about a criminal who is a high-ranking criminal who is brought into a safe house run by Ryan Reynolds, and this group that's after him comes and destroys everybody in the safe house except Ryan Reynolds gets the criminal out of there, and then the criminal escapes, and so Ryan Reynolds tracks him down. It's a total action film, which I didn't realize that's what it was. Those are not necessarily my favorites, but I did enjoy watching it. I thought it was pretty good. Of course, there's moments where it's like, this is totally unbelievable, but that's how that is. And then the first Saturday after being back, my friends and I got together for a movie, and we watched Love is News with Loretta Young, Tyrone Power, and Don Amici, and it's hilarious, from the 30s, so I highly recommend that movie. I found it on YouTube. And then that's it. And then tonight, it's Saturday when I'm filming this, and tonight I am going to be showing my friends Henry Poole Is Here, one of my favorite movies, and I'm really surprised I had never shown that to them before, because I thought by now that I had shown it to them, but I just haven't shown it to them. So this is going to be the next film in my list, and I am going to be showing that to them tonight. I really love that film about a guy who moves to his old neighborhood from when he was growing up, and he buys a house, and they do a stucco job on it, and they do a really bad job, so there's a water stain on it, and one of his neighbors says she sees Jesus's face in the water stain, and she drives him crazy, and it's a really cute movie, and I really, really like it. I like the faith aspect of it, and it's funny and it's heartwarming, and I just really love it. So anyway, I'm gonna show that to them tonight. So anyway, that is my update. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please consider subscribing to my channel so you don't miss any of my future videos, and I'll see you next time. Bye.